Okay, welcome to the Knitting Club. Today we are talking about AI and how it's going to take all our jobs one day. Everyone applaud.
The end.
Thank you.
Not you.
So, question is AI going to take all of our jobs? And the answer to that question, of course, is yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Please
Yes.
send help. So we are. What are we talking about?
We're talking about how AIs are going to replace all of our.
What is AI?
Replace all of us?
Is it Al? Am I reading the script right? Is Al going to take all of our jobs?
It's Al.
Who's this guy, Alan? What is he doing it to
It's
us?
been Al this whole time. So AI is getting better at stuff. It is able to make music now. It's able to make pictures with mostly all of the fingers that are in the correct places. And there has been people making videos talking about how AI took their job. And
Have
that's
we seen
bad.
any of those videos?
The video will be linked somewhere, maybe.
It's going to be linked right somewhere over here.
Or maybe we'll even show a clip of it. I don't know.
Ooh,
I don't know. Maybe we won't.
Look at the link here.
Anyway, you're just gonna have to trust us. We watched the video. It was very good.
I mean, minus the fact that AI is taking jobs.
Yeah, what's good about it?
Nothing is good about that.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, there's a video that I saw. Link in the description below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
There's this guy who's a designer talking about being the only designer at the company that remains. And a lot of the work that he has done, he templatized so that he can work faster. And they apparently took his templates and then fed it to an AI. And now the AI does his job instead of 30 minutes in 30 seconds. And so they're like, hey, that's really cool. Anyway, you don't work here anymore. Thank you. Bye.
I feel like the idea is just I'm not even sure who it's for. Like people that say that. Who is it to make happy? Like, because people that have jobs and make money, I'm sure they'd feel a little like relieved that there's like less pressure. But if you just look a little bit beyond that and see that there's like no thing for anybody to do, then what do you do with all that time? Sure, I would like to live in a society where I don't have to do anything. But what if I want something that somebody else doesn't have?
I think it's not about what to do with all that time. It's more about what to do without all that money.
If AI were to take over all of the roles of having to make life possible, so food, resources, power, all that stuff, then what do you buy? Who do you give the money to? Do you give money to someone? Is there such a thing as a store that you can go in and give money for things?
It doesn't even have to be expensive. It could just be like you want like a radio, like just anything. How are you going to buy things? Who are they making? Who are companies making things to sell to?
Well, then why would you even have a company if no one has any money to buy anything? Because
if Amazon replaced all their workers with robots, who's going to buy all the things from Amazon?
Other robots.
How close to is AI going to ever take our jobs? Are we talking like 5 year, 10 year? 50-year scales here.
You have cars driving around San Francisco today that are driverless, and they're like taxis. You call it up on your phone, it comes, picks you up, takes you to where you want to go. And yeah, I think it might be in beta or whatever, but that's already there.
Oh yeah, and they're creepy. When you see somebody go down the street in the back seat of a car with no one in the front, it just feels real weird.
And sure, they're working out the problems. It gets stuck apparently sometimes, and there's a human driver, remote driver or something that can take over. Mm-hmm. But what are we talking about? Like a year before they work out the kinks? And then what does it look like for other stuff, like trucking? 5 years? 10? I don't think that much. The amount of, if you were to look at where the DARPA challenge started off, which I think is the first real, like, I think it's the first real attempt at a competition to see that who can make a self-driving car that can cross, I think, some kind of desert, if I remember correctly. This was funded by DARPA or hosted or whatever. And so what was that? Early 2000s? A lot of time has elapsed, and we have gotten to the point where there's cars driving around in San Francisco. So if we're already there, are we near trucking yet?
I'm really curious about whether or not trucking will be, like, what the human element with this endeavor will be. Because I think technologically we're very close and probably could just make trucking go away. But the governmental aspect and human aspect of fighting against that, that's going to be interesting to see. Because I think with the lawsuits and all that type of stuff, it will end up being 5 years or more, is my guess. Like,
lawsuits,
humans are going to get in the way. Okay, if I'm a person who owns a company that has a bunch of trucks, I want to ship some goods from the East Coast to the West Coast or something. I want to use self-driving trucks. I can do it way better. But the trucking industry right now is going to be like, no, we're going to make a legislation of some sort or a standard or something that you have to get your trucks okayed with by some governmental agency somehow that says no automated trucks. And then somebody's going to be like, oh, I want to do it. And then the other people are going to be like, no, you can't because you're going to be taking our jobs. And it's going to be just a giant, like, legal battle, not a technical battle in that case. So that's why I put it a little bit further out. I think 5 years I think it will slowly shift towards that, but I don't think it will be within 5 years that it's completely that. I think it'll probably be more like 10, somewhere in that range. But that's just an opinion. What do you guys think?
I'm all for, like, replacing jobs that probably we don't value as much as we should. Like, I feel like, or maybe like if they're too dangerous, something like that. Firefighters, for instance, maybe not a complete 100% replacement, but some personnel could be replaced with just, an Atlas style robot with a hose. A robot that's fireproof that can go in there, grab somebody that's stuck in there and get out. There you go. I also thought of, like, teachers. We don't value teachers very much. They don't get paid a lot. That's also something that I think would benefit from some kind of automation, at least to supplement what can't be bought. Like, if there's a shortage of teachers, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting junction. It's like, are we considering replacing a job by just changing the whole structure of the endeavor? Because education will exist. We want to teach the next generation stuff. There might not be this teacher to pupil relationship anymore, or there might be a completely different structure because you can get information from an AI.
Well, hold up. So, teachers, I think, as far as the social skills of AI, that is, I think, a bit further out. AI is not the best at that right now. Teachers have a lot of skill set with that. Working with kids, it's huge. I don't think AI is anywhere near that right now. I think AI is more closer to jobs where the problem set is smaller. If you imagine driving a car, what's the problem set? I need to navigate ultimately a 2D environment. There's rules I need to follow, signs and lane switches, or lane changing, turning left and right, going forward, backward. Limited output. And then I just have to observe the world to make sure I ultimately don't crash into something. And AI is going to be great at that. I think with things that have stricter and smaller rule sets, those are the things that are at risk right now. Not to say that in the future we're not going to develop AI that has a lot more social skills. But if we're looking at 2024, where AI is today, the jobs that are at risk are the ones that are a limited input or limited output. So programming, for example, the structure of programming is well known. You have design patterns, you have an instruction set you need to write code for. That's what's probably going to go first. And that's probably within 5 years.
So let's
Dun,
start
dun, dun.
looking for a job on another. We should all start singing or something like that.
No, we are definitely going to starve.
Well, what do you think? Do you think 5 years is a fair assessment? I mean, if you look at where ChatGPT was 1 year ago, or Dolly, and where it is now, do you think that's a fair assessment? In 5 years, it'll be able to completely replace certain types of jobs. And I would say it's already kind of started. Like the people that are saying that companies don't want to hire junior engineers because you could just do the job with AI.
Yeah. I mean, the critical threshold is switching over between somebody leading the AI doing the thing and AI just automating all of it. Because I could see this like a slow burn where it's like gradually companies try to implement AI solutions to their problems. But anytime a company that has legacy code, like I'm not talking about legacy code specifically, I'm just saying something like that, where it's like it's a built-in structure already, and they try and add something new to it, there's friction, right? So is the friction enough to, are we postulating that AI is so much more powerful that it will solve all the friction for the companies? Or are we saying it's technology that could if used rightly, and the companies will or won't use it rightly? That's the question in my mind.
Okay, so the part that you brought up about legacy code is interesting because that's one of the cases I hear people say is, oh well, AI is really bad at analyzing existing code. Okay, fine. What if it rewrites all of the code? Like how much time would it take a computer to write 300,000 lines of code? Probably nothing.
I mean, I think the more complex part is not about writing code; is understanding what code it has to write, what features it, like what the spec is. Right.
Yeah, I feel like the part that you were leaving out earlier when you were saying AI can replace jobs with very rigid rules and stuff like that. The part that's hard about being a software engineer is dealing with people that want to design and then making a design from that, and then making a code, making code that from that design.
Mm-hmm.
So that human interaction that we have with the people that tell us requirements is something that I don't think AI is very good at right now.
Right. What I would say to that, though, is that doesn't de-risk the fact that you could replace a number of developers with a single person. Because if the job that we need the human to do is interpret what the business needs and then convert that into a technical specification that the AI can then understand, the AI can then extrapolate, okay, I need a database, I need a UI, I need the thing to drive the UI, and I need to hook this all together. That's the part where you would be replacing developers. You just need a technical PM, and then that's enough probably to replace an entire team, cross-platform. So yeah, it's not as strong by itself, but if you have one strong driver, you could probably take over several, if not tens, or maybe even hundreds of jobs.
Yeah. I mean, the assumption here is a little bit similar to the real world example of like, okay, in some scope of time, we will have created robots that can do it, that can identify things, right? We'll have cars that can drive and do everything right. We'll have these things, but there is a ramp up time. You have to manufacture the robots. You have to design them. You have to create them first, obviously. Then eventually they'll start getting to a threshold where they can do all this stuff. In the software industry, I know people are pursuing these endeavors of like an AI architect for code, but I don't know the current state of it. Like, is that endeavor going to rapidly be successful, or is it just kind of in research and development right now?
If you open up ChatGPT today and you go to other GPTs, software architect is a GPT that already exists there. I haven't really played with it that much, but
Yeah.
it's there. Someone's made it.
Oh yeah, I know. I would like to, and that's probably what I'm going to do moving forward is like delve into these things and figure out, okay, what are my opinions on how this actually succeeds or fails at a large scale endeavor? Because you can create software architecture that's crumbly, and yeah, maybe you can rewrite it, and maybe if you're just constantly rewriting it with enough CPU or enough CPU cycles that you can just constantly fix all bugs by rewriting it. But is it ever a point where you will create something that's multifaceted and big enough that rewriting this messes up this, and then rewriting this messes up this, and then rewriting this messes up this? You get into these cycles that like AI doesn't auto-generate itself out of. So that's what I mean by like, I don't know the current state of the endeavor, and maybe that's successful, maybe it's not. Maybe it takes a year or two to actually get it locked down to where it's useful. And if that's true, then each piece of these might be a year or two, which means there might be 5 to 10 years of R&D before you can actually start replacing people, like 10 devs with 1 dev. It might be a slow burn where it's like 10 devs with 5 devs, and then 5 devs with 3 devs. But I don't know the time scale. I'm actually kind of on the fence. One day I'm pessimistic, one day I'm optimistic. So,
Well, I would say that it is already happening. Maybe not that fast, but see, for example, tools like Copilot. It allows one engineer to be a lot faster, and we all use it, and we think it's the best thing that we have when working with code. So it is happening right now in the sense that we already have AI tools that make things a lot faster for one person to work on the things that you may need 3 or 4 more people to do. So what is next, I think, is remove that that driver. And if you think about it, ChatGPT every day is better at understanding what people want. So one day it will be just you need an app that does something, and it will do it, because also is a computer communicating with another computer. So it's faster. It's a more direct communication, you could even say.
I mean, ChatGPT, you can already ask it like, I need a Python script that can read from a MySQL database. And if you give it more details, it'll fulfill those details usually. So like, I want a piece of Python code that connects to a MySQL database and queries in descending order a list of last names. You'll get the code for it. It's already there. I think you just need to make a layer that connects all of these independent pieces, driven with a global technical spec, and then you can have an entire application written by AI.
Business idea.
Anyway, forget no one write that one down.
Cut
Ignore
this.
that.
Cut this.
we didn't.
Cut that one out.
Yeah.
Well, so we've answered who whose jobs will this take and what it's good at. Now we need to wonder why this sudden push for AI. Like what's causing all of this to happen all of a sudden and out of nowhere? AI is everywhere.
Is it the cynical part of me is a job is a job because people don't want to do it. That's why they get paid for it. So we're like, ooh, can I automate it so I don't have to do the thing that I don't want to do? Like in a way.
What if here's an idea. What if each unit of, I guess AI replacement. So you would say that, like, if some AI is able to do the job of 10 people, then you would say that that's worth 10 people. Then the company that does that would still have to pay that salary into some kind of universal fund, which is paying people that can't have a job because it's all been automated.
So basically a tax on AI usage.
Yes.
Kind of, I could see that being a solution proposed somewhere in the future. I mean,
I don't like that solution, but that is
creepy.
a way. That is a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like it better than people losing their jobs and not being paid.
Yeah, it's better than that.
Yeah.
But I think I would rather just have a job.
Yeah.
I think if there's a universal income and your immediate needs are fulfilled, so you don't end up living under a bridge, then being able to pursue what you want is not a bad thing. There's plenty of people that work and they go to their jobs because they have to. Plenty of people do that and they don't like what they do. So if you can free yourself up and do what you want to do, that is interesting. But going back to Sammy's question of why, I think it's just about money. There's a lot of investors shoveling money into AI because they want a return on investment. The people that hold the keys right now are the AI companies. Whose infrastructure do we need to pay for and use when we want to use AI? Theirs. Well, what if I want to start my own AI company? Well, probably you don't have enough money to do that.
What, you don't have $1 billion laying around to buy hardware and data centers and things? Come on. That's what I keep in my closet over there.
The what is that video card? There's some NVIDIA card that all the AI it's all the AI researchers want.
I think it's the H100, I believe, or something.
The H100.
Yeah. But
Do
yeah,
you
I
know
think
what it costs?
I don't know the number, but I know that it's a whole lot.
Well, the HAL 100.
And you need a whole bunch of those.
But yeah, I mean, the whole idea is all that money that right now is used to pay people's salaries. Investors would like that money to go to them instead. So just like, as you said, it's money.
Well, imagine if you're a company too, right? Like if I have an overhead of, let's say, $5 million a year for development, then if I can get rid of nearly all of that, of course I would. That is how much more I can put away into profit or other things to make the company grow if I don't have to pay that amount. So it's just money. I think it's all money. It's always money.
There's two sides. Every technological advance has been A, money is good, but B, somebody's crazy enough to want to have that thing exist in the world. So both are here. I see both of them here. Like AI researchers just like it and want to create AI. Like that's part of it. And then other people come in and say, hey, how can I make money out of this? I mean, OpenAI is technically supposed to be a nonprofit, so we saw how that's working. Yeah.
Also, Semi, when you were asking, like, why now? Why is this explosion of AI happening? I mean, I think the concept of AI has been around for a long time and has been researched for a long time. I remember back early 2000s, even there was the Alice chatbot, which was also open source. You can even make your own. I think computing power and more research over time got us to some type of turning point where everything just suddenly took off faster and faster.
They finally realized that the AI was good enough and that we could actually use it to replace people.
Well, I think that's probably more like ChatGPT 3.5 and above. I think before that it felt more like a toy. When
Yep.
the early versions of Dolly were like, I want you to generate a picture of a man eating a sandwich, and it was just a absolute nightmare where maybe even the sandwich was the one doing the eating. It was more of a meme. It
Beautiful.
was funny. It's like, wow, look at AI, how it makes this crazy stuff, and people were just mostly playing with it. But then it got better.
You're like people aren't just mostly playing with it now too. Let's be real. Some companies are trying to use it. 90% is people generating random images.
Yes, I know that's what
Oh.
you're doing, David.
Don't tell me what to do with my AI.
We don't want to know what you do with your AI.
The sandwich eats the man. The man eats the sandwich.
I mean, I think honestly people are trying to make money from AI art.
Yeah.
Like people are trying to sell art as AI. I mean, or trying to
AI
sell
as art.
AI generated art. And
Some people is even trying to sell AI generated books. Books,
Books?
With a K, books.
Who's crazy enough to try and do that?
right? Right?
is that some sort of attempt at a
A shameless plug.
shameless plug?
And
A
now
random link from a book probably show.
The link will be in the bio.
for our
Yeah,
sponsored
check it out.
segment.
This segment is sponsored by Sebastian's book that he wrote with AI by himself.
In the future, because it's not here yet.
Or
But
is
please buy
it?
it.
Pre-order now.
Order it on Amazon for $50 billion.
How many CPUs can we buy with one book? That's a lot of
Two.
books.
Wrapping up. How about wrapping up?
How do we wrap it up?
Well, that's a wrap.
So if you're watching this video wondering if AI is coming for you, it is. It's coming
Don't
for you.
worry.
It's outside your house right now.
It is not coming for
Run.
you.
Run.
Don't worry.
It already got you.
It'll be quick and painless. Probably.
Well, for some of us.
Well, I
As
mean,
long
to
as-
AI, everything is painless.
Define painless.
True.
Is that good? Is that a good ending?
Is that a wrap?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
It is over? What?
Click on the notification bell.
Watch this next video. There's never anything there.
We'll be back. Don't worry.